What's mindset? And what's the proper mindset to have when it comes to your personal safety? That's what we'll discuss on today's Tactical Tidbits. Hello again, friends. Herman Morris from Alpha One Tactical here. However, wherever you're watching this, please remember to either subscribe or like, follow, comment, and as always, share this video so that I can help as many people as possible be safer. All right, so in the last episode, we discussed the hierarchy of personal defense. We worked backward from the least important to the most important. We're now going to work our way up the pyramid and look at each individual component, starting with the most important, mindset. Mindset is the attitude and perspective that we bring to any situation. A mindset can be either constructive, meaning one that will work with us and help us build, or obstructive, one that constantly works against us and precludes us from progressing. So how does this come into play when talking about personal defense? In the previous episode, I provided an analogy of creating an ultimate special forces warrior to illustrate the hierarchy of needs of personal defense, and I ended the story by pointing out that in our case, we don't need to have the same type of mindset of a tier 1 operator who's put in harm's way for a living. The reason being that we're civilians who don't live in a war zone and we enjoy relatively low levels of violence in our society. Now, depending on where you're watching this, your mileage may vary. And even in this case, where one doesn't need to be put through some military boot camp to have a healthy and effective mindset when it comes to their safety, most folks still fail to adopt one. Why do you think that is? I think that it's precisely because of the fact that we live in a relatively safe society that so many of us are so complacent about it. But until violent crime goes to zero, this is something that we must take into consideration. No different than the way that we take certain measures to ensure that our house doesn't burn down, or the fact that you put on a seatbelt every time that you get into a vehicle. In my experience, most people suffer from one of two fatal conceits, or both, when it comes to the possibility of finding themselves in a violent encounter. The first is the idea that it'll never happen to me, right? And the second is, well, if it does happen to me, I'll rise to the occasion. Now, in the first case, it's probable that it won't happen to you, again, depending on where you live. And in the second case, it's possible that you'll rise to the occasion, but highly unlikely, precisely because you never even thought about what defending yourself or avoiding the situation altogether would entail. You didn't have the necessary mindset going in. Now, if you want to get started in adopting a mindset that is conducive to your personal protection, you must first adopt a mindset of accountability. Realize just how many people depend on you and ask yourself the question that Coach Tony Blauer always poses to people. What would it cost if you didn't fight back? If you didn't come home tonight, what would happen to your family, your friends, coworkers, your business? When you answer that question for yourself, you will immediately feel it in your gut. That's the kindling that we use to awaken the human weapon system that's already inside you. As always, if you want to learn more about this and much more, check out our class schedule and join us for the next Personal Defense Readiness course, where you'll learn everything you need to know about mindset in more detail. And stay tuned for the next episode, in which I'll explain how the proper mindset primes us for developing the strategies that will keep us safe. Until next time, see you then.